Joe Burrow is back, and earlier than anyone expected. After battling through a brutal grade 3 toe sprain, he returned to the field this week, but what he said on Wednesday shocked everyone. His comments have fans wondering if something much bigger is going on behind the scenes, even to the point of people whispering about retirement. Yeah, retirement. Let's break down exactly what Burrow said and why it has the entire Bengals fanbase buzzing. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss any breaking Cincinnati Bengals updates. Alright, let's dive into the latest news. Burrow turned 29 this week, and while you'd expect a confident, fired-up press conference, his tone surprised everyone. Reporters described him as calm, reflective, even a little heavy. Whatever is happening, mentally or physically, his words sparked conversations all over social media. Fans are saying things like, "Is he the next Andrew Luck? Is he getting tired of the grind? Is he thinking about stepping away?" And none of that came out of thin air. It started with one moment from his Wednesday presser. When Burrow was asked whether football is still fun for him after everything he's been through, he gave a brutally honest answer. "If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot. And if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for?" That line hit hard. He talked about reflecting on his career, the physical toll, the mental grind, and the battles he's already fought at just 29 years old. He didn't point to a specific moment that changed him. He said it was years of experiences piling up. And while he never said anything about retiring, the tone, the honesty, and the emotion in that answer lit up the entire NFL world. There's a lot weighing on Joe Burrow right now, not just football, but everything surrounding it. And when he talks about needing to have fun, to keep doing this, it opens the door for every kind of wild interpretation. Some people think he's turning into the next Andrew Luck, some think he's unhappy in Cincinnati, and some think he wants out. None of that is grounded in reality, but it shows how intense the reaction has been. What's really happening is much simpler. Burrow is frustrated. Deeply. This is on track to be the third straight year the Bengals missed the playoffs, and that alone hits him hard. He pushed himself through a recovery that almost no quarterback has ever pulled off, 69 days post-surgery, and he was back under center. That's unheard of. That's elite commitment. And that's exactly why this moment stings even more. As of December 11th, only 83 days have passed since his procedure. This period, late-season games like Baltimore, Miami, Arizona, was supposed to be the earliest reasonable window for a return. Instead, he came back weeks ahead of schedule, giving the Bengals a chance they unfortunately couldn't capitalize on. They were 1-8 without him. And now, even if Cincinnati wins out, their playoff odds are buried under numbers no competitor wants to look at. Burrow knows that. He knows how hard he fought to get back only to see the season slipping out of reach. Of course he's angry. Of course he's drained. Of course he's looking at the standings thinking, "How did this end up like this?" He's 29. A prime-year quarterback. A guy who could easily be in the MVP race today if not for the injury. A guy who came into this season with the weapons, the coaching, and the mindset to make another Super Bowl push. And instead, it feels like a season wasted, a year where the potential didn't match the outcome. That's a lot for any player to process, and for someone wired like Burrow, it cuts even deeper. Let's get something straight. The idea that Joe Burrow has somehow lost the fire to play football is flat out absurd. Say it out loud. Listen to it. It doesn't even make sense. This is the same quarterback who returned from a grade 3 toe sprain weeks before even the most hopeful timeline. The same guy who pushed through rehab faster than anyone thought possible. 69 days after surgery he was back, competing like nothing could slow him down. That isn't someone falling out of love with the game. That's someone obsessed with winning. But here's the part people don't want to admit. Burrow pushed himself into a race he was never supposed to be in. He fought the clock, beat the recovery window, got back on the field, and then realized the season was already slipping away. That's where the frustration comes from. Not quitting. Not retiring. not losing passion. It's the pain of knowing he can't change everything by himself. Watching that unfold in Buffalo, that moment when he understood just how little control he had left over the Bengals' fate, that's what hit him. That's where the weight came from. He's a competitor, and competitors hate feeling powerless. As for anything going on in his personal life, nobody outside his inner circle knows, and that's not for speculation. What we do know is the football reality in front of him. This franchise has reached a point where good enough isn't good enough anymore. Whether the future involves Zach Taylor or doesn't, whether Duke Tobin remains the architect of the roster or not, the truth is simple. The Bengals must nail this offseason. They need upgrades. They need depth. They need impact players. They need bold decisions. This stretch of disappointing results is not acceptable, and everyone in the organization feels that, including Burrow. And over the next few months, the Bengals' future will depend on how aggressively and intelligently they rebuild around their franchise quarterback. Because one thing is clear, Burrow hasn't quit. But the Bengals need to match his urgency. Let's be honest, Cincinnati's defensive issues didn't come out of nowhere. For 3 straight seasons, the Bengals have struggled on that side of the ball, and a big part of it traces back to the departures they chose not to properly replace. When you lose players like Jesse Bates or DJ Reader, leaders, tone-setters, all pro-level impact guys, and you don't bring in equal talent, the results speak for themselves. And yeah, it's frustrating. If fans are angry, imagine how Joe Burrow feels. This season has been one long uphill battle. The defense hasn't held up, key decisions were mishandled, and some of the roster moves, or lack of moves, have been flat-out baffling. The Trey Hendrickson situation is the perfect example. They didn't extend him, they didn't trade him, they tried to land somewhere in the middle, and the whole thing backfired. A nearly $30 million investment resulted in just 4 sacks before he went down for the year. That isn't how a winning franchise operates. Burrow can absolutely have that same turnaround, but 2 things must happen. 1. Burrow needs a clean, healthy stretch. 2. The Bengals must build a roster worthy of a Super Bowl window. This organization cannot waste another offseason. They need impact players. They need depth. They need to maximize every dollar and every draft pick around their franchise quarterback. And as for his relationship with Zach Taylor? Sure, fans have strong opinions, but Burrow's view is more measured. He genuinely likes Taylor. That doesn't guarantee anything about the future, but it shows he isn't sitting around pointing fingers or demanding changes. The coming months will be full of questions: coaching direction, roster construction, potential replacements, staff evaluations, all of it. And every part of that conversation will come back to one truth: Joe Burrow is still all in on football. Completely. His obsession hasn't faded. His fire hasn't dimmed. His frustration comes from wanting to win, not from wanting out.